The air in the courtroom was stiff with formality, the kind that made people sit a little straighter and speak a little softer. Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General, stood at the defendant's table, her hands resting lightly on the polished wood. Around her, lawyers, clerks, and spectators whispered among themselves, eyes darting between her and the stern-looking judge sitting atop his bench. Judge Harold Whitmore was a man of routine, strict, methodical, and unwavering in his interpretation of the law. The gavel in his hand came down with a sharp crack against the desk. Judge Whitmore. Ms. Bondi, we've discussed this before. The courtroom is no place for religious symbolism. Pam's expression remained calm, though a flicker of frustration passed through her blue eyes. Pam Bondi. Your Honor, I mean no disrespect, but this cross is not a statement. It is a part of who I am. She reached for the delicate gold chain around her neck, her fingers brushing against the small cross pendant. It had been a gift from her grandmother, given to her when she passed the bar exam. It had been with her through every major case, every moment of doubt, and every victory. The judge exhaled sharply. Judge Whitmore. Ms. Bondi, rules exist for a reason. If we allow one exception, we open the door to many. The law must be applied evenly. A murmur rippled through the spectators. Some shook their heads in disapproval, others in quiet agreement. Pam held his gaze, unwavering. Pam Bondi. With all due respect, Your Honor, the law is meant to serve justice, not suppress individual rights. The judge's lips pressed into a thin line. Judge Whitmore. You're in violation of court decorum. I am fining you $500. The room fell silent. The reporters in the back of the courtroom scribbled furiously. Pam merely nodded, accepting the fine without protest. As court adjourned, Pam stepped outside the courthouse, greeted by a rush of cool morning air. She barely made it a few steps before a soft voice stopped her. Young woman. Ms. Bondi? Pam turned to see a nervous young woman clutching a notebook to her chest. Young woman. My name is Rachel. I'm a law student at the university, and I just wanted to say that what you did in there was inspiring. You stood up for your beliefs, even when it cost you. Pam smiled warmly. Pam Bondi. Thank you, Rachel, but the fight isn't over yet. The law must always be challenged where injustice is found. Rachel hesitated before speaking again. Rachel. Do you think one person can really make a difference? Pam placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Pam Bondi. Absolutely. Every great change starts with one voice. The question is, will it be yours? Rachel's eyes gleamed with newfound determination. The preparation for a legal showdown. That night, Pam sat in her home office, the soft glow of her desk lamp illuminating stacks of law books, court records, and past rulings. She flipped through pages feverishly, searching for a precedent that could support her case. Hours passed. Coffee cups piled up. The clock ticked past midnight. Then, she found it. Tinker v. Des Moines, a landmark Supreme Court case that ruled in favor of students wearing symbolic clothing as a form of free speech. Then another, O'Lone v. State of Shabazz, acknowledging that even within structured institutions, individuals retain certain rights. Pam leaned back in her chair, the hint of a smile playing on her lips. Pam Bondi. Let's see if the judge is willing to listen to his own laws. The courtroom showdown. The next morning, Pam strode into the courthouse with renewed purpose. The same cross sat proudly on her collarbone. Inside, the courtroom was packed. The media had caught wind of the previous day's ruling, and now reporters, law students, and curious citizens filled every seat. Judge Whitmore sat at his bench, his expression unreadable. He sighed. Judge Whitmore, Ms. Bondi, you are wearing the cross again. That is a direct violation. Pam raised a hand. Pam Bondi. Your Honor, before you issue another fine, I ask that you allow me to present my case. The judge hesitated, then gestured for her to proceed. Pam stepped forward, placing a legal document on his desk. Pam Bondi. According to Supreme Court precedent, specifically in Tinker v. Des Moines, symbolic speech is protected under the First Amendment, so long as it does not disrupt proceedings. Additionally, in Olone v. State of Shabazz, courts acknowledge that religious expression is still protected in structured legal settings. A ripple of murmurs spread through the room. The judge skimmed the documents, his brow furrowed in concentration. Judge Whitmore. This applies to students and prisoners, Ms. Bondi. A courtroom is different. Pam was ready. Pam Bondi. Your Honor, you have lawyers in this very room wearing symbols of their alma maters. You allow wedding rings, lapel pins, and even cultural insignia. If those symbols are permitted, why is mine being singled out? A hush fell over the courtroom. The judge's expression flickered, just for a moment, with uncertainty. Finally, he exhaled, setting the document down. Judge Whitmore. Ms. Bondi, you present a compelling argument. I may not agree with you personally, but I must respect the law. He straightened. Judge Whitmore. Your fine is revoked. Gasps filled the courtroom. Rachel, watching from the back, clapped her hands over her mouth in shock. Pam let out a slow breath, touching the cross on her necklace with quiet gratitude. As she stepped out of the courthouse, Rachel rushed to her side. Rachel, you did it, Pam chuckled. Pam Bondi, the law did it. I just reminded people what it stands for. Rachel's eyes shone with admiration. Rachel, you were right, Ms. Bondi. One voice can make a difference. Pam squeezed her shoulder. Pam Bondi. And soon, Rachel, that voice will be yours. As Pam walked away, the cross on her neck caught the morning light, gleaming like a symbol of faith, courage, and the enduring power of justice. Pam Bondi's stand was not just about a necklace, it was about defending principles that define democracy. Her story reminds us that justice is not just about rules. It is about fairness, courage, and standing up for what's right, even when the odds are against you. And sometimes, all it takes is one person to challenge the status quo and change the course of history.